Let's go, Brandon. Welcome, my friends, to Conspiracy or Conspiracy. Your regularly scheduled program will not be seen tonight. Instead, we're going to talk about conspiracies, government conspiracies, the Illuminati, ETs, UAPs, UFOs, and things that go bump in the night is what Conspiracy or Conspiracy is all about. And tonight we're going to be talking about Breakaway civilization. And joining me, I can't think of any better person to be on the panel. And this is he's our star guest, our good friend Drew Taylor, aka Supreme Heretic. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you.
Well, hey, man, it's great to be here. I know that my connection probably isn't ideal, but we're running a couple of quick errands for Mama Heretic over here. So, yeah.
Okay, perfect. We want to make sure that Mama Heretic's taken care of. It was no worries. Absolutely, Mama Heretic is number one, especially since she just had her birthday.
Yeah, well, actually, her birthday is coming up on Sunday, but yeah, it's awesome.
It's coming up.
Yeah, so I'm happy to get into this topic, Wes, because this is something, you and I have kind of touched on, and I think it's something that is relevant given that it could be coming down the pike with everything that's happening with this great reset nonsense. Breakaway societies are going to happen.
There certainly is some historical precedence for it, and we'll get into that. But for now, let's go ahead and say hello to our amazing friends in the chat, the best chat on YouTube.
Hail to the chat.
Hail. Absolutely. Hailer R says this seems more of a conspiracy or conspiracy topic than whatever Wednesday. Yes, indeed. We'll switched it up a little bit. Hail to Helium29. Good to see you, my friend. Hail Small Time. Small Time says, I'll stick with the official narrative. Can't wait for tonight's whatever Wednesday. Whatever.
Whatever.
Hail the angry... Yep. Hail the angry gamer. Hail the fellowship of this chat. Yep. Uh-oh. It's been mentioned. You don't want to mention the quarter roll unless you want to see the quarter roll.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely. Angry Gamer says Chris Evans is the new Buzz Lightyear, and Buzz will probably be gay now. Wow, I didn't hear anything about that. Maybe, probably him and Woody. R says, multiple genders to infinity and beyond. I don't think he'll do it that good, Chris Evans, now. And Small Time says, frack Joe Biden.
That's right. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. Indeed. Hail, Parrothead. I am the Lord of the Waterfowl. And Small Time's giving us, somewhat of a cryptic... I think you're missing a building there, Small Time. I think there's one more building, but there are only 2 planes. I think that's, yeah.
It was an inside job.
But I see what you're saying. Oh, no, it was an inside job. They're turning the frogs gay, and then they took down the buildings. No, kidding. Alex Jones didn't say that. Jones has kind of been having a pretty good track record as of late, hasn't he?
Oh, wow. He sure has, huh? I mean, my goodness. Spot on about everything seems lately.
Pretty much. An Angry Gamer says, Michelle is obviously happy to be on Ellen. Whoa. Thankfully she wasn't too happy. Otherwise that, you know. Then, we really could have mistaken it. Well, I don't know. It probably wouldn't have been a floppy roll of quarters like what we got. Yeah, R says, indeed, Mike was very happy to be on Ellen. R says, hail to you, Drew. Hail, Ruben. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Hail that 70s rock fan. Good to see you, my friend. Hail the Islington girl. I think that's in reference to the roll of quarters. R says, I think Catherine Austin fits theory that the deep state has used the missing 21 trillion over the decades to build an underground breakaway civilization with advanced tech. I wouldn't put it past them. I know that there's been a lot of sounds of explosions and mysterious earthquakes that didn't make any sense, so I wouldn't be surprised. And then you have the Denver International Airport, which there's a whole lot of... We went into some of that in one of our shows. Maybe we should do another one at some point. Hail, Stone Cold Jeremy. Cheers to you, my friend. Yes. Hail, just another red shirt. Good to see you, my friend. Howdy, Keck44. Yeah, Small Time says, we all know Alex Jones destroyed Building 7. All right, I think we're mostly caught up here. So, yeah, we're going to talk about breakaway civilizations. There certainly is precedence for them in history. I guess what's different now is, at least, in recorded history, we don't really have, aside from the pyramids, a record of technologically advanced civilization the way we are. Of course, the pyramids, remain a wonder of the world even today. And then, of course, you have other megalithic structures that, reference, astronomy, which they even did that at the Hoover Dam. Part of it, they dated it, but they also put a star map so that anybody looking back at the Hoover Dam, because the Hoover Dam is going to outlast all of us, supposedly. If anybody goes back to see when it was built, the makers decided to put a star map on there because, it turns out that 2,000 years isn't really a long time in geologic history, and nobody may know who the hell Christ was or the religion is thousands of years from now. So let me see. Star map, Hoover Dam. I'll show it to you. Picture's worth 1,000 words, right? I found that very interesting. Here we go.
Oh, wait, I was going to say, Hoover Dam will at least last until the Autobots and Decepticons have a fight on it.
Yep. Oh, it looks like did I stumble onto another conspiracy here with the Hoover Dam star map? It looks like somebody's talking about... It's weird to see that old, 20, that old 30s style. There. It looks, it's just interesting. But yeah, there's a star map at the Hoover Dam. Boy, this thing must be huge. That must be a huge star map. Damn it. I'm blaming DuckDuckGo for this not coming up as quickly as it should. Star map. Damn. The 26,000 year... There we go. We'll go ahead and share that. Small Time says there's a KFC right near the pyramids. America can't be stopped. Islington Girl says, Jack the Ripper is a tough one. Yeah, they're trying to... I've heard some people say they thought it was an American. Here you go. The 26,000-year astronomical monument hidden in plain sight. The star map of Safety Island has baffled visitors for decades. Oh, dang nabbit. Don't dox me, damn it. Fuck you, Google. You didn't see that. One of two massive bronze cast sculptures that flank Hoover Dam's Monument Plaza. On the western flank of the Hoover Dam stands a little understood monument, commissioned by the Bureau of Reclamation when construction of the dam began in 1931. The most notable parts of the corner of the dam, known as Monument Plaza, are the massive winged bronze sculptures and central flagpole, which are often photographed by visitors. This amazing feature of this plaza, however, is under their feet as they take those pictures. I wonder why I never get to read on yelling at parked cars. I should ask. I think I do a pretty good job. The plaza's terrazzo floor is actually a celestial map that marks the time of the dam's creation based on the 25,772-year axial precession of the Earth. I was particularly interested in this monument because this axial precession is also the slowest cycle that we track in Long Now's 10,000-year clock. Strangely, there is little to no documentation of this installation seem to be available, except for a few vacation pictures on Flickr. So last time I was in Las Vegas, I made a special trip out to the Hoover Dam to see if I could learn about this obscure 26,000-year monument. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care about that part. Oh, that's cool. You can see it being made. Began to see why the Bureau of Reclamation doesn't explain very much about the monument's background. One of the first things she sent me was a description of the plaza by Oscar J. W. Hansen, the artist himself. Boy, I hope he didn't get killed by it or end up in the concrete. Which I thought would tell me everything I wanted to know. While parts of it were helpful, the artist's statement of intention was also highly convoluted and opaque. An excerpt. These human postures may be matched to their corresponding reflexes in terms of angle and degree, much as one would join cams in a worm gear drive. Interesting. There is an angle for doubt, for sorrow, for hate, for joy, for contemplation, and for devotion. There is many others as there are fleeting emotions within the brain of each individual who inhabits the earth. Who knows not all these postures of the mind, if he would but stop to think of them as usable factors for determining the proclivities of character. It is a knowledge bred down to us through the past experience of the whole race of men. It's pretty hard to imagine the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation using this type of write-up to interpret the monument, and they don't. And so there it stands, a 26,000-year clock of sorts, for all the world to see, and yet still mired in obscurity. While I may never totally understand the inner motivations of the monument's designer, I did want to understand it on a technical level. How did Hansen create a celestial clock, face frozen in time, that we can interpret and understand as the date of the dam's completion? The Earth's axial precession is a rather obscure piece of astronomy, and our understanding of it through history has been spotty at best. That this major engineering feat was celebrated through this monument to the axial precession still hold great interest to me. I wanted to understand it better. And we'll pan down here. This is very cool, isn't it? So Drew is going to be back. He had to run his errands, and he's hopping on his computer as we speak. I now had some historical text and photos, but I was still missing a complete diagram of the plaza. Allow me to really understand it. I contacted the historian again, and she obtained permission from her superiors to release the actual building plans. I suspect that they generally don't like to release technical plans of the dam for security reasons, but it seems they deemed my request a low security risk as the monument is not part of the structure of the dam. The historian sent me a tube full of large blueprints and a CD of the same prints already scanned. This in hand, I was finally able to reconstruct the technical intent of the plaza and how it works. Let's see here. Islington Girl says, oh, that sculpture. Hold on. I want to make sure that I don't neglect the chat here. I want to highlight your comment as well. Sculpture looks like the movie studio one, but I can't remember. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. R says, I remember visiting Hoover Dam. Those statues are something to see. Welcome back, my friend.
Yeah, did not want to connect. Jeez, oh man.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens.
Can you hear me now though?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Small Time says, thank goodness the Hoover Dam was built when it was. If all those deaths happened now, we'd ban concrete. Yeah, well, we'd also be using cheap Chinese concrete. Well, no, we wouldn't, actually.
Well, wait, are the famous scorch marks from the Autobot Decepticon battle at Hoover Dam?
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, that was an interesting scene, actually. So in order to understand how the plaza marks the date of the dam's construction in the nearly 26,000-year cycle of the Earth's precession, it is worth explaining what exactly the axial precession is. In the simplest terms, it is the Earth wobbling on its tilted axis like a gyroscope, but very, very slowly. This wobbling effect moves what we see as the center point of the stars appear to revolve around each evening. That's cool. I like that. I should print that off and put that in my office. I like that. Long exposure of star trails depicting how the stars appear to revolve around the Earth's celestial axis, which is currently pointed to our current North Star, Polaris. Rest in peace, Polaris! And Polaris. Sorry, a little Megadeth there.
I understood that reference.
I know. Presently, the center point lies very close to the conveniently bright star Polaris. The reason we have historically paid so much attention to this celestial center, or North Star, is because it is the star that stays put all through the course of the night. Having this one fixed point in the sky is the foundation of all celestial navigation. Cool. I like visual aids. Isn't that cool? But that point near Polaris, which we call the North Star, is actually slowly moving and tracing a circle through the night sky. While Polaris is our North Star, Hansen's terrazzo floor points out that the North Star of the ancient Egyptians, as they built the Great Pyramids, was Thuban. And in about 12,000 years, our North Star will be Vega. Workings of this procession are best explained with an animation as in Figure 1. Here you can see how the axis of the Earth traces a circle in the sky over the course of the 25,772 years. See, where now it's Polaris. And yeah. Cool.
That is definitely interesting. Almost thought that we mentioned Jeffrey Tubin.
Yeah, I almost made a Thubian slip there or something. Well, not a Tubian slip though. Although none of you would be able to see because I have my desk covering me. But trust me, I'm not. See, they're up here. Yeah, it's very interesting. So in this diagram, you can see that the center of the circle is traced by the axial precession is actually the massive flagpole in the center of the plaza. America. Hale's Axe. See, I should have visited the Hoover Dam when I was in Las Vegas, and I was driving to Dallas because it was right on the way. The axial circle is prominently marked around the pole, and the angle of Polaris was depicted as precisely as possible to show where it would have been on the date of the dam's opening. That's fascinating.
No, I just wanted to clear it up and say, folks, it really is a massive flagpole. It was not a Beware the Drew incident.
Yeah, to beware the Uncle Sam. Hansen used the rest of the plaza floor to show the location of the planets visible that evening, and many of the bright stars that appear in the night sky at that location. By combining the planets' locations with the angle of precession, we are able to pinpoint the time of the dam's completion down to within a day. Wow. We are now designing a similar system, though with moving parts, in the dials of the 10,000-year clock. It is likely that at least major portions of the Hoover Dam will still be in place hundreds of thousands of years from now. Hopefully the clock will still be ticking and Hansen's terrazzo floor will still be there, even if it continues to baffle visitors. I feel like it's not baffling visitors, because I feel like he just told us exactly what it's for, but okay. So what do we think about that? Drew? So, it's interesting because, that we look... That's okay.
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, no, I was asking you what you thought about all that.
Oh, I find it to be quite interesting. That the Hoover Dam is not just a dam, and it involves a lot of interesting things like star charts and everything else. I wonder, I wonder if our old cartoons were trying to tell us something about it, Wes.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Like,
hey, Nancy.
Does it serve another function? Hail, Nancy. Hail, Janet from another planet. Great to see you. Love you, Janet. Yeah, it's that's one of those things where I think this particular location shares a lot of mystery along with its functionality.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, I think they say that the Hoover Dam should be around for at least 10,000 years, if I'm not mistaken. Or not quite 10,000 years, but it'll be the longest standing monument in the event of some sort of catastrophe. Small time is, let's see, what is small time says. Drew's not allowed at the Hoover Dam. Security risk is he could punch a hole through it by accident if he stretches. Beware the Drew.
Yeah, darn. No, they have for some reason have that ban on me.
Well, it's for everybody's safety. You don't want to have another whatever that dam incident was in like Pennsylvania in the 19th century. So let's talk Breakaway. Yeah. See, I thought I saw some Masonic iconography there, RR. Some Masons could have been involved with the design. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of their thing. Sacred geometry. That's their jam. So, Drew, Breakaway Civilizations. Let's talk about it. Where would you like to start?
Well, it's interesting in this whole thing that we've got in the I guess, coming era of the Great Reset. I've oftentimes thought, is it going to be yet another chapter in humanity where we're going to have to, in order to stay alive, form our own breakaway society? And that's one of the things that got me started on this. And there's plenty of lessons throughout history that proves that can work. I don't know what your perspective is on that, but I'm. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, there's just a lot at play here, and we have myths and history that sort of point to things. We have things that cultures all around the world do. For example, Ruben has a really good point here. The truth is that most people do not realize that human history is much longer than people think. There's a lot of lost history. The flood story is a myth that did happen, but not how people realize. I mean, all around the world, peoples have a very similar flood myth, even to the point of, very similar to Noah's Ark, very similar, just different names and And but it's very similar. So clearly, it was a very catastrophic event, and it changed the world. And then you also have all around the world, people have bracelets that are supposed to ward off things, and so you kind of wonder if there wasn't, and we're getting kind of into lost civilizations here a little bit, but maybe they were fighting the same battles that we're fighting, and they had maybe a means of technology that shielded them from whatever their version of like a mark of a beast scenario was. And that's why people wear those bracelets all around the world. Just a thought. But we can't replicate the pyramids today. We can't do that now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was fascinating, actually, that you just mentioned that, because I wonder if this is a case. There's a famous quote in Battlestar Galactica where they say, all of this has happened before and all of it will happen again. You have to wonder if indeed, somebody, ancient humans faced, another group of humans that decided they were going to impose their own supposed great reset and decided to get away from it. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think about.
Well, and I think there's even a Bible quote, what once was, or God, what's that quote? Nothing new under the sun. God damn it. What is that fucking quote? I hate Stream Brain. I really... Also, I'm not... there we go. Ecclesiastes. Here it is. Ecclesiastes 1:9. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. That's the quote I was looking for. Whoa, we lost Drew. Okay, so Drew is switching to his PC, so we'll be back in just a second. But yeah, all this stuff is really fascinating to think about. Oh man, why? I'm fuzzy. What the hell's going on here? I don't think YouTube likes conspiracy. I really don't. I'm getting like increasingly worse. That's terrible. Why is it doing that? I mean, I'm jacked right into the router too. Lame. I think at some point I'm going to have to run these streams through OBS the way Nerdrotic does. Nerdrotic mentioned running them through OBS and using StreamYards for the panel. I'll have to figure out how to do that, because this is definitely a StreamYard issue and not a Wes's internet issue. So Angry Gamer says, I am certain the Great Flood happened. I worked in underground mining for 10 years, and we found a prehistoric shark jaw 900 feet underground. Yeah. And then if you go through the Southwest, there's clear evidence that there was a large water event there. R says, the ancients believed civilizations came and went in cycles, just like the stars and seasons. Yep, indeed they did. They were very wise, and we should heed their wisdom. Wow, this chat jumped a lot. Yes, there is not much that we know about our past, says RR. 70s rock fan says, we have very little or no idea what went on before the first written history in the Sumerian era. There may have been technological civilizations before. Well, 70s rock fan, Oppenheimer, after he, in an interview, when people asked him about the atomic bomb, Oppenheimer said, I believe they asked him if this was the first atomic bomb, and he said yes, in modern times. And he seemed to really believe that the, and what's now in that they may have possessed nuclear weapons because he was God damn it, I can't remember the name of the book. Let's see, now I need to pull it up. Oppenheimer.
The old nuclear scientist Oppenheimer,
You know the.
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they didn't like him. He started to grow a conscience, and so they couldn't have him working on nuclear bombs after that.
Yeah.
Here we
Hail
go.
that 70s rock fan. Good to see you, my brother. Soul Assassin.
Yeah, my internet's acting all weird.
Uh-oh. It's not contagious.
Okay, here. I think it's StreamYard. I don't know. Hopefully Star Trek Discovery is not contagious, but it ended up doing that to Picard as well.
That's something we don't want contagious.
Why the... No. So, let's see. Robert Oppenheimer was a man well-versed in Sanskrit. He used to read ancient Hindu scriptures, had an acute eye for the scientific and philosophical gems therein. His statement, "First nuclear explosion in modern times," was given after the twin nuclear blasts of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. He was the head of the Los Alamos laboratory whose job was to bring this nuclear bomb to reality. So in his statement, he is actually referring to Mahabharata. He quoted Lord Krishna's words, "I have become Kal, the destroyer of worlds." This because he was guilt-ridden about the scale of destruction. As to the nuclear explosion in modern times, he firmly believed that weapons of mass destruction on such a scale, and even more, were already being used in the Battle of Kurukshetra. Thus he acknowledged this fact by using the term in modern times. Ooh. I hope I'm sharing audio. I think I am. July 16th, my birthday. Malls used to have these like things that spit out like fun facts on your birthday. You know, back when malls were a thing. And one of the things they spit out was the fact that the Trinity experiment happened on my birthday. Oh my God! What is happening with the internet? Maybe I am having internet issues. I have my
4, 3, 2,
There we go.
1.
In the dead silence of the morning at 5:29:45 Mountain War Time, the Jornada del Muerto was bathed in an intense flash of a light that man had only seen from the stars.
We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
Yeah, so pretty
That is
guilt-ridden
chilling,
guy
dude.
there. Huh?
That is very chilling, and you can see that he was really, God, in that statement, man. He looked like a man really overwhelmed.
Big time, because I mean, that technology is going to be around. You know, was obviously around long after he was gone, and you know, he just like he he knew, he knew that this could, whatever happened in World War II going forward, that there are just going to be these horrible weapons. Yeah, Small Time says Oppenheimer looked haunted by what he knew he had unleashed. What had been unleashed, yeah. Vigilante Williamson, hail, my friend. Good to see you. I've always thought he looked like a gray. He does. He was a vegetarian, so he had a kind of a gaunt look about him. He had a small frame and a big head. Ours is a hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ruben says, we need to get land that is strategic to establish a new city that is sustained by us. We have the people and the talent to stand the process. We need to barter, set up a place that helps humanity. Yeah, like a Galt Skulch. So, Breakaway Civilization. Sorry, I went down a rabbit hole there.
Well,
hail Phil and hail Rita.
It's funny. I think that John B. Wells was mentioning that he kind of had an initial plan for some stuff that I know that he was talking about taking some of his community and we're going to put something together in forget what state exactly, but something that involved complete irrigation, electric, off the grid electric on shared generators, things like that, the whole 9 yards. And they were going to try to make a go of it that way. So in the event of
Is it Elon Musk or Bezos that's building the city in the Arizona desert? Who's doing that?
I'm not sure which one is doing that.
Let me see. Or was it Gates? I hope it's not Gates. Ugh.
But I'm leery about that because when you talk about them doing that, a lot of those big time billionaires are thrown in already with the globalist agenda. So.
A lot of people think he's a great guy. I disagree. I don't trust him.
Who, Elon?
The best you can say about him is that he's a benevolent oligarch. Am I sharing the right shit? Okay, good. So yeah, there it is. There's the artist's conception. Let's see. It's okay. Former Walmart executive. Okay. Billionaire Mark Moore.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the first phase of construction, which would accommodate 50,000 residents across 1,500 acres, comes with an estimated cost of $25 billion. The whole project would be expected to exceed $400 billion. The city reaching its target population of 5 million within 40 years. Let's see. The project also promises transparent governance. Taking its name from the ancient Greek word telos. The city would allow residents to participate in the decision-making and budgeting process. Don't we already have that?
Well, I want
community endowment will
continue.
Meanwhile, offer residents shared ownership of the land. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I want to believe that Elon is not a follower and he's capable of being a heretic if so inclined. And I've seen signs that point to that, but we've also seen signs the other way. And it's hard to tell if he's just playing ball with these people to keep up appearances or so on, but either way, these are conversations we're going to need to have, and I'll tell you what, folks, listen, all of us across this fellowship, this community, if you will, of people that we know. Okay. In our own way, we're already, at least in the frame of thought, we are our own breakaway society. But it is good to have logistics in place to be in contact with one another, because again, these are plans that we may all need to make in some form or fashion, and better to do it with people that we know that we could get along with than total strangers.
Absolutely. Yeah, build your networks, folks. Build your network. Yeah, so you have stuff like this, that city from scratch, and I think Walt Disney even had kind of visions of that with Disney World, which is very interesting. So we have these central planners that are interested in doing this stuff. We have of course we know that they seem to think that there's too many people on planet Earth, which is interesting. So the question that I have: are they going to leave the people that don't want to go along with it? Because it looks like they're going to roll out, you know, the universal global biometric ID system, tie every verification. You're already starting to see people what's going on here, even people that are armies and really on here. Am I robot?
Yeah, you're
I had my
robot.
VPN on and I turned it off. It looks like something's happening.
Yeah, you're roboting pretty hard, man.
Hold on. Brief.
Oh well. While Wes
Okay.
does, oh, there we go. Okay.
All right. Hopefully this is better.
Yeah.
I can't. Okay. I think what it was I had my VPN on, so I had to take it off. Vigilante Williamson says you mispronounced Mark of the Beast. Indeed. Well. See, that's what I think. That's why I think those bracelets that they have them in Indian culture, a bracelet that you wrap around and it's supposed to Then you have in Latin America, I think they call it the mal de ojo, which is a similar principle. Evil spirits, bad vibes, evil eye. It's very interesting, and Kabbalah has something like that as well. So, kind of makes you wonder. We are really just traveling down that path again.
Well, it kind of there's something that piggybacks on this, and it goes back to kind of my discussion about the whole reasoning of Directive 51, and don't think for a second that in the back of my mind I fully believe, Wes, that they are planning a major mass casualty event that is a false flag, obviously, but it is still going to have a large scale effect, and they're planning on that because again, they're one of the purposes they want to achieve is to cut some people off the ledger, so no, they will, and then it is going to be used to accelerate and spring in a lot more of either the UN peacekeepers or things of that ilk. But mark my words, something like that is coming. And also, it's a convenient reason to invoke Directive 51, which again, makes it kind of paramount to have at the ready a plan for a breakaway society.
Yep. Well, here's what's interesting, because there certainly is historical precedence for breakaway societies, and I think I mentioned it before on one of our other streams. But as the Roman Empire went from the early Roman Empire to the late Roman Empire, with Diocletian, but a little bit before that, you had the cities starting to kind of decay, and the wealthy and people moving out into the countryside and establishing kind of their own little fiefdoms. And so we seem to be seeing that today. And the question is, in Diocletian, what changed under him was he no more, the Senate was basically honorary and a title at that point under him, and he created this tremendous bureaucratic structure, this very top-down structure, this huge bureaucracy, and they're the ones that ended up with the power. And we kind of see that happening with our country, don't we?
Yes,
executive authority. And it's just the parallels are amazing. And then they devalued their currency, and I believe Diocletian rolled out a new currency as well.
Yeah, they did.
So it's all history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme, as Mark Twain said. So yeah, I mean, how do you envision the breakaway civilization looking, and the technocracy versus the agrarian society? How's it going to go down?
Well, there's going to have to be a major catastrophe, mass casualty event, whether it's a nuclear detonation, whether it is something engineered that they can blame on global warming. Either way, there has to be a significant catastrophe. And, I think that people are starting to wake up to the coup. So I'm not sure if they can use that, or you just have the whole thing, and I kind of harken back to, where I kind of started to research Operation Dark Winter and things myself. Tom Clancy's The Division, because remember what happened in that video game, folks, in that story. There was a major smallpox variant created in a lab. Sounds familiar. And then it was administered on currency by a terrorist organization. And it caused a major catastrophic loss of life around the world, and that threw things into chaos as to where you had to have at that point, UN peacekeepers on the streets, or a JTF type of situation where FEMA had to take over.
Joint Task Force.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. And there are going to be people that don't go along with it, and people that, your average person, they're sitting there in front of their, 65-inch TV, munching on some Cheetos, having some McDonald's, and they're just like, yeah, this whole New World Order is a little inconvenient, but I want my DoorDash, and I want my fucking, just leave me alone. Yeah, whatever. Put the chip in, whatever. Biometric ID. Nobody uses cash anymore anyway. Those kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the rest of us will have to resort to precious metals, or if we have the ability to have our own technology, crypto, or barter. So.
No, I think it's going to function more along the barter system, to be honest. People will talk about precious metals. Yeah, it'll be probably a combination of both, that and a barter system. Because they are really trying to control crypto right now. That's why I want to share an interesting anecdote with you folks quickly. Last week when I went, to the Browns game that evening with my friend, my friend had given me, a couple of bucks of cash he gave me a $20 bill and he said, grab some snacks, whatever. Well, I couldn't grab any snacks at the stadium. And here's why. So apparently, First Energy Stadium is completely cashless. You cannot use cash, period. If you don't have a card or anything, there are these kiosks you could go to and exchange cash for a little temporary debit card.
Like the casino, kind of.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. But you cannot use cash for anything.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow. It's really here.
It's coming, yeah. I had to get some change, and they didn't have any change. They had to go back to the safe to get me change. So yeah, it's pretty scary what's happening there. Yeah, Vigilante Williamson says I need more silver, and I agree. I like silver. I think silver's cheap right now. If you look at inflation, silver's still a good buy. So
Yeah.
let's see.
I do think it's possible, especially in some of the little smaller country towns. You could get off the grid a lot easier and kind of use, because you already have the houses and stuff built there, and people could build more houses there if need be, and things like that. You just need to get off the central electrical grid and everything else, which wouldn't be hard to do in the more remote communities. And you could just, do everything by co-op.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I moved to where I moved. I moved to, more of a rural-ish town. And, the only thing that kind of concerns me about where I'm at, and I'm not sure if it's a plus or a minus, is the fact that we have a huge-ass Air Force base, Beale. So I think if there is some sort of attack on us, I'd probably be safe because I imagine they have countermeasures that we don't really know about.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. Yeah, it's there are plenty of places to bug out around here, thankfully. And even if I stayed in town, it's really such a small town that I think I could probably do okay.
Well, a lot of people among our listeners, I know right now they live in country areas and they're thankful for it. I know that many of them do, and people are just quietly getting ready. And that I think that's the main thing to do, because at this point, it's coming. You can see clearly, and we mentioned this on Tuesday. When Wes was on my stream. Australia has obviously a test bed in Canada and places like that. So it's only a matter of time.
Yep. Yeah, I just want to know how fast it's going to go, because they certainly have stepped up. Let's be honest, dude. They've hit pedal to the metal on this shit.
Yes.
And if you look at the past civilizations, this process took place over hundreds of years, and we're going through it in decades. It seems like.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a weird time to be alive. It really is. And so I don't know, these people talking about their pensions and this big glorious welfare state, and the people that are I'm really I don't want anybody to suffer. I'm concerned about what's going to happen to them, because I feel like if the whole thing does collapse, it's going to be real bad for them.
Oh, it is. It's going to be hard. So, you know, I mean, you personally, you know me very, very well, and you know a situation that you know my mom and I are in, and we're struggling just to get by. This could be a killer for somebody like her and I, you know. But I mean, it is what it is. I like to think
Yeah.
I have enough friends that I know that people aren't going to let that happen. But you know, I mean, I don't rely on that. I mean, I think of it just in the sense of the literal right now. And yeah, it just I know from my mom and I, yeah, we're pretty much sunk.
Well, that's why we have our network, and I think we'll be able to pull together as much as we can when things happen. I'm not as prepared as I would like to be, honestly.
Mhm.
Back 9 years ago, I went in with some family on some property that was like truly a small town, like a small town of 200 people, and had a well. It was like right off the river, so if you needed to do fishing, you could do that. There were deer that literally would be in the yard. And yeah, I mean, that's why you have to be careful about who you go in with this stuff, because that didn't work out. And they're currently living in that house, and that was supposed to be a family thing, which still pisses me off to this day, because I had it all set up. We could have done so well with that. It was right at the bottom of the market, man. We could have been using that one to snap up other properties, and just it just pisses me off every time I think about it. But it is what it is. I would have been so much more prepared. I could have been able to help more people that way. That property, it's in the middle of walnut orchards, so I mean, we knew the neighbors, and there would have been plenty of food. But that's I'm just not as prepared as I would like to be. But that's why we have this network, and that's why you got to network with like-minded folks, so that you don't run into that situation where you have maybe a business partner that's got some issues. Angry Gamer says, would California be a good place to bug out? There are parts of California that are excellent to bug out. It has a Mediterranean climate, so you'd be able to grow a lot here. And there are rural areas that are very libertarian-esque. Yes. Vigilante Williamson says, we're here for you, Drew. We are.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely planning on fighting this one way or the other. I'm going to be fighting the battle on the front line. I know that much, because I'm not going to let the authoritarians win. Because ain't not one damn person that owns me or tells me how I can live and how I can't.
Absolutely. So yeah, R says they're definitely trying to get a Black Flag event. Yeah, man. I mean, they're just so out in the open with it. They're so desperate. They're making mistakes, and it's showing. I mean, God, that Biden town hall. I mean, the dude literally shit his pants on stage. Literally,
dude. The one where he had the jetpack.
Where he got really confused and didn't know what was going on, and just like, I'm sorry, I've seen that like on 2-year-olds, and that's what's going on. He was dropping a deuce, and you could see Anderson Cooper starting to laugh. Like Anderson Cooper's on board with it all, and he was starting to laugh. God, I mean, it's sad. I mean, he's an evil man. See, that's what sucks. He achieved this crowning achievement, I guess, and the dude doesn't even fucking have a clue. He doesn't know where he is.
No.
I mean, he's like shitting his pants on stage. I mean, and then you look at Kamala, and Kamala is even worse. I mean, she's just like legit stupid. Yeah, maybe she has like syphilis or something. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. But I just like, I still can't believe, and I still can't believe that some people are like, well, at least it's not Trump. What? What?
It's insane, man. They you know, you try to explain it to them and they still don't get it.
And that's what's interesting to me, is that we do have the technology where we can record this stuff supposedly for posterity. And so like historians will be, I mean, depending on how history shakes out, I mean, they'll be able to look at this stuff and I don't know, man. I don't know what historians are going to say. I mean, it just all depends on, this breakaway thing, how that works out. But that I mean, because, there are stories from history about aged leaders that, weren't all there. Like, I think, or leaders that went insane, like, King George.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's weird to see it play out in my lifetime the way it is. Godzillionaire says the Minister of Truth will scrub all of this from history. Well, except for the elites, that have their own schools and go through their own process. The people that are tapped in, like, whatever their version of Skull and Bones will be. Pop Culture Republic. Hail! Says it's crazy to think that the TV show Jericho might be our future. Yeah, it might be. I'm surprised it was allowed on the air. That show was great.
Yeah, I remember that show. And again, it shows that humanity can press on, but we need to, get together and start, organizing.
Yeah. Har says YouTube is bigoted towards Wookiees. Yeah, apparently.
Oh, damn them.
Yeah. Vigilante Williamson says stupid. I'll have you know, tons of politicians find her brainy. Yeah, I bet. Like swallows well. Ugh. So many dummies. They don't want smart people. That's the thing.
No.
They're just like, hey, how would you like to be a congressman? Or, yay. Phil says, I'd like to join that sex cult secret society from Eyes Wide Shut. I don't know. They bump people off that, that don't toe the line. Soul Assassin says, well, I believe that eventually evil folks will get theirs in this life or the next. Well, I mean, their own machinations are going to undo them because they're backstabbers and liars. That's what they are. That's who they are. And, it's just going to be like musical chairs, man. Somebody's not going to have a chair. But the people that see that's what's interesting. The people like the Kamalas and the Bribens, they're going to be the first ones to go because it's just like you've outlived your usefulness. There's really no reason to keep you around anymore. Bye. Or says just like in the Dark Ages, it will be small enclaves that preserve knowledge. Yep. This is great. I love that we're doing this show on Wednesday. I love that we're doing a conspiracy or conspiracy today.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, this is an important thing that needs to be talked about because it's so relevant to what's going on. And this is another one of those important discussions that needs to be had because this is something that a lot of people don't think about or they want to put out of their mind because, to a degree, I understand, folks. It's morbid to think about this stuff because you don't ever want to think that there's a need for something like a breakaway society. Who wants to think that? But here we are, and it's and it's very important.
So yes, my PayPal, my PayPal. Sorry, folks, I should have taken that off of Stream Elements, but PayPal, they already have my social security number, and they want a copy of my ID. They want a copy of the card that I'm using, and they want a copy of my bank statement, which I do not want to provide to them. So unfortunately, those of you that have donated, I think I have $100 sitting in there, are going to get refunded. And until I do that, even though they said, we need to verify your account. And I was like, okay, let's verify it. And they send you the code. It's like, well, we need documents now. So unfortunately, I'm probably going to terminate my PayPal. Patreon does allow me to accept a one-time donation. So I should take PayPal off or maybe put Venmo or something up there. I don't know. But I do apologize for that. It's not my doing. I've gone as far as I care to go with them as far as complying with the information they need. You have you have the card number, where to send the money, PayPal. You have my SOCH. My email address. Hell, I even think they have my my billing address. So it's like, what the fuck else do you want? I'm not going to do the rest of this stuff. So I'm unfortunately. No, they didn't allow me to call them. See, I asked, I had the code and I put the code and it didn't work. I'll try it again, just another red shirt. I'll give it one more try. But yeah, I am sorry. They want blood and piss too, probably.
Yeah.
Hail the Nerdporial life form. Welcome, my
Would
friend.
not doubt it. Hey, Nerdporial, what's going on? Yeah, I mean, and again, this is warfare on a different level, because they're coming at you, and all they're doing with all the stuff they're doing with all the payment processors, and it just tells you right then and there what they don't want you to have any way out. They don't want you to have an escape. They don't want you to be able to make money off of any profession that isn't government approved. And obviously this profession is not government approved, because we're out there attempting to alert the rest of our fellow men and women out there, our fellow human beings, fellow Americans, and the rest of our kind around the globe. So of course, this isn't approved by them. So what do? Attack the payment processors.
Yep. Yeah, they do not want us making money off of this. That's for sure.
No.
Okay, so I just turned off the PayPal stream elements. So I've got the Patreon up and the Odyssey up. That should be all that's scrolling right now. I'll give it one more shot. But and that's also why they want to do the $600 IRS tracking, which they're trying to send this shit up the flagpole like that's going after billionaires. Fuck off.
It's not at all.
Oh, it's going after us, the little guy.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you're not going to be able to make money off of this deal. You're criticizing us. You're blowing open our new world order. We can't have it. We can't have it.
It's 100% it's 100% widespread surveillance, because they want they want to know, and it's also a way to shake people down, because if they get your financial info, your tax info, they say, well, you're going to go to jail if you don't inform on this person, because we're aware that this activity happened in your account, and we're aware that you have money that you weren't taxed on.
Well, and I mean, now they're talking about taxing unrealized capital gains.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
So a capital if it's unrealized, it's not a capital gain.
No.
And what do you do? Do you come back and shake them by the ankles after you've already taxed them on their unrealized capital gain? Are they gonna, if there's a crash and the asset depreciates, is the IRS gonna say, oh, well, here's your money back. No.
No, not at all. And that's unconstitutional. They can't do that.
Way unconstitutional. Yeah, we need to. I have an idea on it. I think that we need to. So yeah, I mean, I guess the question at this point is: A, can we turn it around? And B, how do we turn it around?
Well, again, we're going to have to make contingency plans. That's the biggest thing. You know, make your contingency plans now. Network all you can with other like-minded folks, you know, and figure stuff out, because that's the only way. Because they're going to force this stuff onto you at some point. It's already happening, and the only reason that we haven't approached Australia and Canada levels is, you know, there is a bit of fear on their part because of the fact that there are so many armed Americans. But after a while, I don't even think that is going to be enough of a deterrent to keep them from coming for us.
It's just going to have to be widespread non-compliance. I think that's the start, and then they're either going to back off or they're not. And if they don't back off, then that's when you go get a little closer to the 1776 route, if you can.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where hopefully at that time you'll have, local, local and state governments that, say, hey, this government's illegitimate. Meaning the federal government. This government's illegitimate. We're going to go ahead and pass a constitutional amendment and say this government's illegitimate. The Federal Reserve is illegitimate. The income tax is illegitimate. And, we got to go back to constitutional government. And, and then we need to have a mechanism to I think you basically need a declaration of war against, like the CFR and the World Economic Forum. And the Bilderberg Group and those folks, I think, is what you got to do. And hope that the military comes along, or that they don't have AI or mechanisms to switch off the military in the event of a situation like that. And then you got to hope that they don't have anti-grav and weird technology that we don't even know about, where they could just like some orbiting device that just wipes people out and leaves the cities. Like a giant microwave generator or something that just cooks people. And I don't know. It's weird. It's just scary that we're even talking about it.
Yeah, it really is. So,
Hail, George. Welcome, my friend. It's always good to see you. All hail, says George.
Yeah, hail, George. Great to see you, man. Thank you for coming on with us yesterday. I really appreciated that. That was a very that was a big time pleasure. George brought so much to that conversation as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
we're have to have you on. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you though, Wes. We're gonna have to really be proactive when it comes to our networking and exchanging info. I truly believe that.
Yeah. So let's look into our crystal ball. It's 2022. Rhino Democratic landslide by ridiculous amounts, like 72% of the vote. There's been a fortification in play. More censorship. Where do we go from here?
Well, there's going to be a revolution. That's one thing that's going to happen. And again, there's while this is happening, a lot of people are going to scramble to have these, breakaway societies beginning, get those together. But yeah, it's going to happen because the end game. Agenda 2030 is just what it says. They want all of this in play and in effect by 2030. So, we're on the clock.
Absolutely.
You know,
Hey, hail David Serta. A tax on unrealized gains will crash the market. Who in the F would pay tax on money that is not even cashed out yet? Exactly, because there's not a gain. The gain, you don't get the unrealized gain. That's an oxymoron. I mean, taxing that because it's not, you haven't realized the gain.
exactly. I use the restroom, Wes. I'll be right back.
Absolutely. So that would be like, it's dumb. It'd be like if somebody, promised to pay me $1 million for my car and they said, yeah, we're going to have to tax you for that $1 million car. And then the person changes their mind. They're like, well, we're not going to refund you your taxes. It's like, until the money hits the account, I haven't made $1 million on that car. It's ridiculous. Yeah, wait for the lockdown or crisis just before the midterms. I think that's probably the likely playbook, isn't it? So, man, I can't believe we're here. I can't believe we're here in my lifetime. That's crazy. My mother's like at retirement age too, and my parents are at retirement age. This is, really disturbing for me. They shouldn't have to live out their twilight years, their retirement years, having to deal with this shit. I mean, that's what makes me madder than anything. Small Time says vote by mail is the playbook. Yeah. Angry Gamer says not sure if they'll wait till after the midterm to replace Sleepy Joe with Kamala or not. I don't know if Joe's going to last that long. I mean, he literally shit his pants on stage, live, for the whole world to see. I was shocked. They better be lucky that CNN had very bad ratings on that. But I mean, it's too late. It's been memed to death. It's been memed to death. Yeah. Reportorial says...
What must be what? What must be what?
Yeah, sadly. You had it all. You had it all. You had liberty and freedom, and it's gone. Wes, have you heard of Unit 731? I have not, or if I have, I don't recall what it is. So, yeah, God, that's crazy. It's crazy, And there were reports that he wakes up in the White House and doesn't know who he is and where he is. And that he's just he refuses to wear a diaper, just shitting himself. And and sometimes some of the stuff that Jones says, I'm like, okay, Jones, you're being a little bit hyperbolic there, my friend. I mean, he's bad off, but I don't see him refusing to wear a diaper and getting a kick out of shitting himself and making people clean him up. But now, after seeing that town hall where he's just like, right there on stage.
Oh, Jesus.
Now I believe it. Now I believe it. I think he was wearing it. I think he did have the good sense to have his handlers put a diaper on him when he was on stage. But man, and Jones was talking about the dogs months ago. Or at least 6 weeks to 2 months ago, I think.
Oh, Wes, did you happen to see on your Twitter today that crazy tweet from the United Nations?
I did not. Can you share it?
Yeah, I'm gonna share this to you. Hold on. They sent
Alex
this
Jones.
weird PSA about the climate crisis, and it has literally a lizard giving a UN address. That's not freaky at all. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right.
Alex Jones was right. Shit. Ooh. Yeah.
But
What must be what?
there you go. I just shared it to you if you want to check your DM.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You might want to pull that up. I'm not sure how long the video is, but yeah.
Yeah, Jones has a good insider, says RR. And Wookie says, Alex has been right. Yes,
Yeah, he
yes.
is.
Pretty much about everything. I know we have some people in our community that aren't a big fan of his, but I mean, you know, when the whole Q thing was going on, I mean, Q was right about some things, but I never fully. I was skeptical because anytime something anonymous comes along like that,
yeah, and I still have my questions about that whole thing. I wonder if that what in itself wasn't controlled opposition or a trap.
I think it was.
I just look at it from, and I always have, and that's why I think, you folks respect me because I look at things from a common sense perspective, from my own eyes when I see things unfolding and happening, or when I research something, or when I share information. It's because I've looked it over and I can say, okay, I see this actually happening.
Okay, so here's the video. I saw the first part of it, and I saw the actual caption of the tweet. So here's the tweet. We can no longer ignore the climate crisis. It's time to stop making excuses and start making changes. Let's take #climate action before it's too late. Don'tChooseExtinction.com. Whoa, #Don'tChooseExtinction. Yeah, there's nothing ominous about that. So do we have sound? Was there sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's working.
Listen up, people. You're headed for a climate disaster. And yet every year, governments spend hundreds of billions of public funds on fossil fuel subsidies. Imagine if we had spent hundreds of billions per year subsidizing giant meteors. That's what you're doing right now. Around the world, people are living in poverty. Don't you think helping them would make more sense than, I don't know, paying for the demise of your entire species? You've got a huge opportunity right now as you rebuild your economies and bounce back from this pandemic. So here's my wild idea. Don't choose extinction. Save your species before it's too late. It's time for you humans to stop making excuses and start making changes. Thank you.
Yep, and people wonder why they think that the shadow government's a bunch of reptilians. Well, there you go.
Yeah, that was creepy as fuck. Mm-hmm. Lily of the Fox Valley, indeed. And unfortunately, it did look like Happy Dino.
The Islington girl, Pinko the lizard. You love it.
Yeah, you humans, was that a personal attack? Soul Assassin R says, "What a bucket of dinosaur piss." Indeed. See here. I mean, especially the UN. Rockefeller money, the Rockefellers, they were a petroleum dynasty, are a petroleum dynasty and a banking dynasty. Currently, the dollar is based off of petroleum. And so, if you wanted to get off petroleum, I mean, that would crash the dollar, first off. But if you wanted to, you would go back to a gold standard and you would use the petrodollars to build nuclear, and you'd bring people around to the idea if it was true. And, I mean, their argument for climate change, the one they're making, and I never fully I watched a lot of Bill Gates interviews, and I never quite understood the general argument that goes something like this. Well, the U.S. was allowed to pollute, so therefore China should be allowed to pollute. And finally, I got around to figuring out what they mean by it, and it's like the U.S., here's their position, if they're using the climate argument. The U.S. has already put most of the CO2 into the atmosphere. That CO2 sticks around for thousands of years. And because the U.S. has already, and it's already up there, and it's going to be up there for thousands of years, therefore, China should be able to pollute because you, U.S., already did. And I'm like, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. It still doesn't make any goddamn sense.
No, it does not.
Because the solution would be, hey, China, we got the technology. Buy it from us. I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Hail Darius Munchausen. Welcome, my friend. Yeah, Tehillim says, keep an eye out for the World Economic Forum vids.
Yep.
Yeah. Angry Gamer says, he assumed my species. And David Serta says, wow, that Velociraptor would eat every one of those kids if it had the chance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to send in Don Jr. to hunt it. Heard he's big. The left says he's big on hunting, Triceratops and Velociraptors. Phil says, get your golden crypto. Yeah, I want to look into that one Culture Casino was talking about.
What, Shiba Inu coin?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently that's slowly, or slow and steadily gaining traction. It's slow, but it's steady. So.
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's just about, here's what it is. Petroleum is what runs the world. The elites run the petroleum. You don't need petroleum? Well, yeah, I mean, it'll crash the dollar. But if you don't need petroleum, you also don't need us, the elites. And so we're like, yeah, it's easier to, as Zbigniew Brzezinski said, and he was talking about the great political awakening, the global political awakening, and that they couldn't control it, and that it's harder to govern 1 million people now than it was to kill 1 million people. And regardless of the type of government that you have, we're the elites, we're running the show. And if we can't govern, and if it's harder for us to, govern 1 million people than it is to kill 1 million people, we need to start killing some folks. I mean, he didn't say that last part, but he implied it. You know what we know what these people are. We got the documents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wookie says, I'm so sick of hearing people complain about the symptoms when everyone ignores the problem. It drives me nuts. Yeah. Oh, there's wealth inequality. Oh, we need socialism. We've got the land of plenty. Fuck off. Rita says, why can't anyone see this? They keep talking about billionaires as if they are a few individual people. As a collective, we are making them money. We are the ones who will be taxed. Yeah, and they don't even pay taxes. I mean, they get subsidies. So even if they do pay taxes, a lot of times they get subsidies from the government. We need to end the Fed.
Mm-hmm.
We need to even not even be talking about auditing the Fed. We just need to nuke it. Because the Fed, and these central banks are really, I mean, they've never been audited. Who knows what they're doing? There could be all kinds of black ops coming out of there, dirty tricks. My suspicion is that if we ever did audit the Fed, it would probably make Bernie Madoff's books look like coherent.
Mm-hmm.
That's my suspicion. So, it is what it is. We're living in interesting times.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And that's why, like I said, it's paramount for people to get together now and start laying out plans and strategies.
Yep, I've been I need to make some money. If I have I need to make more money. And stock that away and just have a little bit more of a cushion than I have right now. I'm not as comfortable with where I should be. And I live in California, so I have to pay income tax here as well. So fuck you very much, California. Angry Gamer says, bought my first crypto today. Congratulations. Soul Assassin says, I'll start a new currency. It'll be on the $50 bill. Wookiee will be on the 100, and Drew will be on the ones for the strippers and blow.
Nice.
Yeah. That was one of the cool things that I liked about. I think it was better. Better Call Saul. I mean, Breaking Bad kind of dipped into it too. They mentioned Ron Paul a few times on Breaking Bad, but where Saul or Jimmy went to that client's estate, And he's like, yeah, I've made my own currency. And he was a sovereign citizen. And he's like, this money's good for, I thought that was kind of funny. But I mean, it was funny and it made him seem like a loon, but also it made sense. I mean, it didn't help Jimmy out, but you could relate to that guy. Yeah, it's weird. When I drove through Albuquerque doesn't look like it did when I drove through it, like it does on Breaking Bad. What they looked, of course, I came through on a rainstorm, but it looked way different. R says, California sent me a letter trying to collect taxes for the last 4 years. I haven't lived there. Yeah, you better watch out. Better make sure they don't have their hands on your bank account. They had them do that. There was one really bad, I think it was 2007. I had a really bad year, and I didn't file my taxes for that year, partially because I was really depressed about it, but also because, mainly because I was really depressed about it, and I just didn't even want to do it because I had made so little money. And, like 2012, 5 years later, they said, you haven't filed taxes, so we're going to say that you made 75 grand that year. And then they said, it's by law, they have to notify you if they're going to do something with your bank account. And this is like 2 or 3 bank accounts later from 2007. Mm-hmm. And so they couldn't figure out my physical address to send me the notices. They couldn't figure out my mailing address to send me the notices. But somehow or another, the state of California managed to find my bank account that was 2 or 3 bank accounts from, the 2007 tax year, and they decided to nuke my bank account. So fuck you very much, California. And so then I'm like, my bank account's wiped out. I have to struggle to make money to pay my bills at that time. And then, and then in addition to that, I have to hire, a tax person to do the taxes to get the money back. And, I got most of the money back, but still it's like, wow. Just ridiculous. Like, why do you get, I mean, it's like, I just don't understand how they could figure out where my bank account was, but they couldn't figure out the proper place to send me the notice. So my suspicion is, that was intentional. But whatever. They wanted to collect taxes off my property that's not in their state. Yeah, fuck them. Yes, hail, Grumpy Gamer. So yeah, I think, what else would you like to talk about tonight, Drew?
Well, like I said, I guess my, to just encapsulate all this, it's like I said before, we're on the clock. They want to essentially finish us off by any means necessary by 2030. And we need to get our shit together and get organized and have a contingency in place. There was an old mission from one of the Halos, the Winter Contingency. Well, folks, Operation Winter Contingency, we need to launch that and put it in effect immediately because we need to have that in place. And I guess that's my final thought for the evening. But yeah. It was a fascinating stream, Wes, and I'm glad that we got to cover this because this has really just been on my mind quite a bit, and I wanted to talk about it. And I am so grateful to you that you decided to take this time and do it this evening.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, this seems like 90 minutes. You and I bouncing off each other here, just like it's always stream magic. And so we'll just, I just want to answer this question by Small Time, and then we'll make it a wrap. So Small Time says, should the woman Baldwin accidentally eliminated on set be considered another Hillary hit job? Her husband is a lawyer with Clinton connections. Where are you at on that, Drew?
You really have to wonder, don't you? Because yeah, that surely is just one heck of a coincidence. Now, again, it could be a coincidence, but I mean, let's be real. We haven't had a whole lot of these incidents like this. I think, God, before this one, you have to go all the way back to what was it? Wasn't it something like The Crow or one of those movies? Way, way a long time ago, when
Yeah,
another
on
one
a
of
movie
these
set.
incidents happened. So, man, you really have to wonder about that.
You certainly do. So, yeah, where I'm at on it is there's just so many circumstances that had to happen for her to get shot. There's having live ammunition on set. There's the person that handed the firearm to Alec Baldwin didn't check it before they handed it to him. And not only didn't check it, but said it's cold. There's Alec Baldwin not checking the firearm, which he should have done. That was his responsibility to do that. On most movie sets, you always assume that the firearm is live unless you check it yourself. And that goes for just your basic gun safety when you're out too. Number 4, you never point a firearm at someone. There's no reason to point a firearm at someone on set. And there's certainly not a reason to pull the trigger. So, and then, look at Baldwin. Baldwin's in with that crowd. So, I come down on leaning towards, I believe that there is some smoke there. And certainly I think that there's going to be more details that come out. But right now I'm leaning towards this being another Clinton body count.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly looks that way. And, I mean, they're getting very sloppy if they want to try to keep it hidden.
That's the thing. They are. And that could be arrogance or it could be desperation. But yeah, I mean, basically, when you're tied in, that big club, it's like, hey, man, we've got something you need to do, Baldwin. And, if you don't do this, we got stuff on you, and you've got a family. You need to take care of this for us. Just make it look like an accident, and you deal with the consequences. But this person needs to be taken out. It's reckless speculation on my part.
The old prove your loyalty to the party, huh?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. There is talk of him being on a certain island, and he denied it. And then there's him, another video clip of him talking about it. So, yep. Yeah. Small Time says, thanks for answering my question. Happy to. We don't shy away from that stuff here.
No.
And Ahar says, it sure looks like another Clinton elimination. It has all of the hallmarks of something like that. It's just like, it could be an accident, wink, wink, but also there's just enough questions there to where, message sent. Are you getting the message, folks? Like Clintons are saying, hey, guys, you getting the message? You got the message? That's the message. All right, go ahead and let's wrap and go ahead and tell us where we can find you.
Well, you can find my channel at Supreme Heretic here on YouTube, and also at Supreme Heretic on Twitter. And don't forget that tomorrow is Pegasus Actual Podcast. So those of you that have been showing up and watching those episodes of BSG with us, we're going to have another great discussion tomorrow as we wind through season 4. So I'm looking forward to that, as I believe we're starting to get into the story arc of Mutiny Aboard the Galactica. That's coming here soon. So yeah, make sure that you tune in to Pegasus Actual if you've been keeping up with it. And even if you haven't, come on by and check it out, because Battlestar Galactica was one of those last great television shows that had everything across the board. Great writing, great production value, people that cared about the genre of science fiction, the art of sci-fi storytelling. And, it's probably one of the last great television shows we're going to get. So, yeah. Make sure that you check that discussion out tomorrow with myself, Brightest Day, and Arwen Avalon, and you'll enjoy that. And don't forget also on Tuesdays to catch Rogue Resistance, where myself, Wes, the rest of our buddies from Rogue Entertainment, well, we bring you the latest in politics and current events. So, all right, folks, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. We'll see you next time.
Awesome, my friend. Thanks for being here. And thank you, the best chat on YouTube. We love you.
Indeed.
Without you, yeah, without you, we would just be like farting in the wind. There would be, just be like barking at the moon or whatever. So, yep, it's good to have you here. If you're catching us on the replay, be honored if you'd consider liking the video, sharing the video, and subscribing to the channel. We do want to get this out there as much as possible. Regardless of what you think of our content, if you're if you're new to the channel, just square us off and the references that we make and the sources we cite against what you're hearing in the mainstream media, and then look at the way the mainstream media changes their stories, and just keep an open mind, and all are welcome. We're a very welcoming community, and we'd love to have you. So thanks for watching, and we will see ya.